There comes a point in many relationships when you feel like giving up. Maybe she doesn't understand you. Maybe she's distant, maybe you're exhausted, maybe the love you once felt has been replaced with conflict, silence, or indifference. It's tempting in those moments to walk away, to give up, to tell yourself, I've tried enough. I can't keep going. But here's the truth, before you make such a decision, before you let go of someone who once meant everything to you, there are lessons worth remembering. Timeless lessons passed down from one of the most powerful schools of philosophy in human history. Stoicism. Stoicism is not just about enduring pain or being emotionless. At its core, it's about living with wisdom, courage, discipline, and justice. It's about understanding what is in your control and what is not. And in the world of love and relationships, those teachings can save you from heartbreak, regret, and destructive choices. So in this video, we're going to explore powerful Stoic lessons on love and relationships, wisdom that can guide you before you give up on her. These lessons come from the writings of Marcus Aurelius Seneca and Epictetus, but also from everyday life. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Control what you can. Accept what you cannot. One of the central principles of Stoicism is learning the difference between what is in our control and what is not. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. In love, this applies more than anywhere else. You cannot control how she feels, what she says, or what she chooses to do. You can only control your own actions, your own words, and your own mindset. Modern example. Think of how many arguments spiral because one partner is trying to force the other to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to respond a certain way. The more you try to control her, the more resistance you create. Practical advice. Before giving up, ask yourself, am I frustrated because of her choices or because I'm trying to control what I cannot? Shift your focus inward. Work on your patience, your tone, your habits, your ability to listen. These are in your control. One of the greatest sources of suffering in relationships is the attempt to control what we cannot. We want our partner to think, feel, and act the way we expect. We want them to change when we demand it. And when they don't, we grow frustrated, bitter, and often ready to give up. Stoicism offers a timeless reminder. Peace comes not from controlling others, but from mastering ourselves. This is beautifully summed up in the words of Epictetus, who taught, "Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions." If we apply this to love and relationships, the message is clear. Her choices are not yours to control. Your own actions, your own thoughts, your own words, that is where your power lies. Why we struggle with control in relationships. Humans crave certainty. In love, this desire intensifies. We want to be sure she'll love us back, that she'll stay loyal, that she'll think of us the way we think of her. But here's the paradox. The more you try to force love, the more it slips away. Love is only real when it's freely given. Control suffocates it. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology confirmed it. They saw that attachment to what is not ours to govern leads to constant anxiety. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This truth applies whether you're an emperor of Rome or a man in a relationship today. Historical context. Stoicism's focus on inner freedom. In ancient Rome, Stoics lived in turbulent times, wars, betrayals, sudden changes of fortune. They couldn't control politics or fate, but they could control their response. Epictetus, born a slave, could not control his master, but he controlled his mind. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the world's greatest power, still admitted he could not control what others thought of him. Seneca, advisor to Nero, often reminded himself that no man is powerful if he is a slave to anger or desire. If these men, living in chaos, found strength by focusing on what they could control, how much more can we apply it to our personal lives and relationships? Modern examples in relationships when she pulls away emotionally. You cannot control whether she opens up, but you can control your reaction. Do you panic, chase, accuse, or do you stay calm, giving space while showing steady presence? When arguments arise, You cannot control her words, but you can control your tone, your patience, and your timing. Many relationships are destroyed not by problems themselves, but by uncontrolled reactions. When she changes her mind about the future, you cannot force her vision to match yours. But you can choose clarity, honest communication, and dignity in how you respond. In each case, the Stoic approach prevents desperation. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with wisdom. Practical advice. How to apply this Stoic lesson. Identify what's in your control, your effort to listen, your ability to remain respectful, your choice to act with kindness, even when frustrated. Release what's not in your control, her emotions, her decisions, her past. Create a daily practice. Each morning, remind yourself, today I may meet rejection, anger, or distance, but none of this is mine to control. My task is to act with virtue. Each evening, reflect, did I focus on my own choices or did I try to control hers? This daily awareness builds emotional strength. Why this lesson matters before you give up on her. Many men give up on relationships, not because love has truly ended, but because they're frustrated by their lack of control. They want her to behave differently, to change on command. But if you apply Stoicism, you realize her choices are hers. Your peace, however, is yours. By focusing on your own self-mastery, patience, clarity, respect, you may discover the relationship still has life. And if it does end, you walk away with dignity, knowing you lived according to virtue, not desperation. Final reflection. The Stoics remind us, control is an illusion when applied to others. Power is real only when applied to ourselves. Love. To be loved must be free. So before you give up on her, ask yourself, am I frustrated because of her? Or because I am trying to control what I cannot? When you learn this distinction, you gain freedom. You stop clinging, stop demanding, stop breaking under the weight of expectations. You live lighter, wiser, stronger. And in that strength, you may find that love has a chance to breathe again. Lesson 2. Love is a partnership. Not possession. Seneca wrote, if you wish to be loved, love. Relationships fail when love turns into control or possession. A Stoic understanding of love is rooted in partnership. Two people walking side by side, freely choosing to stay, not chained by force or manipulation. Historical note. In ancient Rome, marriage was often seen as a contract of power, but Stoic thinkers emphasized mutual respect and virtue over domination. This was revolutionary in their time. Modern example. Today, people often give up because they think, she's not giving me what I want. But ask yourself, are you approaching her with the spirit of partnership? Or are you treating her like something to possess? Practical advice. Instead of asking, what am I getting? Ask, what am I giving? Shift your mindset from ownership to partnership. When love is mutual respect, even difficult moments can be endured. Lesson 3. Patience and perspective in times of conflict. Marcus Aurelius said, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. In relationships, conflicts are inevitable, but too often we magnify her flaws while excusing our own. We grow impatient and forget that we too have weaknesses. Modern example. Think about arguments where you feel like walking away, only to realize days later that you were also at fault. Practical advice. Before giving up on her, practice the Stoic pause. When emotions rise, don't speak immediately. Take time, reflect, and ask, am I being fair? Would I want her to give up on me for my flaws? Patience changes the entire outcome of conflicts. Lesson 4. Memento mori. Remember, life is short. The Stoics often reflected on death, not to be morbid, but to live with urgency and gratitude. Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. In love, we waste time on ego, on winning arguments, on cold silences, on grudges. We forget that life is fragile, and that the person in front of us may not be there forever. Modern example. Think of couples who separate over small, solvable issues, only to regret it when they realize time has slipped away and they cannot return. Practical advice. Before you give up on her, ask yourself, If she were gone tomorrow, would this problem still matter? Let mortality remind you to cherish the fleeting gift of love. Lesson 5. True strength is self-mastery, not domination. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Too many men believe strength in a relationship comes from control or dominance. But Stoicism flips this idea. Real strength is self-mastery, the ability to stay calm when provoked, to remain kind when angry, to choose discipline over impulse. Modern example. When she withdraws emotionally, do you lash out or do you remain steady? When she challenges you, do you lose control or do you respond with composure? Practical advice. Before giving up, look inward. Am I leaving because of her or because I cannot master myself? Work on self-discipline, because the man who controls himself is always stronger than the man who controls others. Lesson 6. Don't let external judgments define your relationship. Marcus Aurelius warned, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Many relationships collapse not because the love is gone, but because of external pressure, friends, family, or society telling you what your relationship should be. Modern example. Maybe your friends tell you she's not good enough. Maybe society pressures you to move on quickly. Stoicism teaches us to live by inner principles, not external noise. Practical advice. Ask yourself, am I giving up because of her or because of what others say? Build a relationship based on your values, not on the shifting opinions of others. Lesson 7. Forgiveness and compassion. Our marks of wisdom. Seneca wrote, "How much better to heal than to seek revenge." In love, resentment is poison. Holding on to every mistake, every disappointment, every harsh word, this corrodes the bond between two people. Stoicism emphasizes forgiveness, not because others always deserve it, but because we deserve peace. Modern example. Think of times when someone forgave you and how that forgiveness strengthened the bond. The same is true in your relationship. Practical advice. Before walking away, ask, have I truly forgiven her? Or am I dragging the past into the present? Practice compassion. Forgive freely, not because it's easy, but because it makes love possible. Lesson 8. Love requires courage. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Many people give up because they're afraid of being vulnerable, of being hurt again, of not being in control. But Stoicism reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward in spite of it. Modern example. Opening your heart to love after betrayal takes immense courage. But the Stoics would argue, what is life without courage? Practical advice. Before giving up, ask yourself, am I leaving because I've lost love or because I've lost courage? Choose to face discomfort. Choose courage over fear. Lesson 9. Focus on virtue, not outcome. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that the goal of life is to live with virtue, not to control outcomes. In relationships, we often obsess over the end result. Will this last? Will she stay? Will it work? But the Stoics remind us, focus on doing what is right, being honorable, being kind, being just. Practical advice. Don't give up simply because the outcome isn't certain. Instead ask, am I living up to my best self in this relationship? Am I treating her with virtue? If you act with integrity, the outcome will take care of itself. Lesson 10. Every ending is also a beginning. Finally, the Stoics remind us that nothing lasts forever. Relationships, like life itself, are subject to change. Epictetus wrote, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This doesn't mean we should give up easily, but it does mean we must accept reality when the time truly comes. If the relationship ends, it is not the end of your life, but the beginning of a new chapter. Practical advice. Before giving up on her, give everything you can. But if it ends, accept it with grace. Don't cling, don't resent, don't curse fate. Embrace change as part of the human journey. Closing reflection. So before you give up on her, remember these Stoic lessons. Control what you can, accept what you cannot. Love is a partnership, not possession. Practice patience and perspective. Remember, life is short. Master yourself, not her. Ignore external judgments, choose forgiveness, be courageous, live with virtue, accept endings as beginnings. Pause, softer tone. Love and relationships will never be easy. They will test your patience, your ego, your pride, and your strength. But through the wisdom of Stoicism, you can approach them not with fear or desperation, but with calm, courage, and purpose. So before you walk away, reflect, learn, and grow. You may discover that love is not something to endure, but something to transform you. Because in the end, Stoicism isn't about giving up. It's about living and loving with wisdom.